Welcome to Partnerships for Profit, the podcast where we bring you inside the world of joint ventures, strategic partnerships, and powerful collaborations. Each episode, you'll dive into conversations with top entrepreneurs, visionaries, and business leaders, unlocking the secrets to building profitable relationships that drive growth and success. Whether you're looking to expand your network, find new referral partners, or scale your business, you're in the right place. Let's get started.
I'm not just putting pralines in a box. I'm putting people's childhood, their grandma's kitchen, Mardi Gras mornings, all in one moment. Welcome to Partnerships for Profit. My name is Dean West. In this episode, I'm speaking with Jonathan Floyd, founder and CEO of Box of Care, and the man who's redefining what it means to give with heart and strategy. He's known as a master gift giver and experience creator, and today he's bringing the essence of New Orleans to us. Jonathan.
Hi, Dean. How are you? Thank you for having me. I appreciate
I'm
it.
wonderful, dude. I'm a Louisiana boy myself. I've seen your boxes. I've gotten them at events before, so great to meet you, dude.
Yeah, same here. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Hopefully the experience was good.
It was great. It was great. My
Good.
wife does a bunch of like local influencing and stuff like that too. So she
Okay.
had got one before too. Um,
Nice.
give me background. You're a New Orleans boy, right?
No, so to be technical, Kenner. You know, you
That's
can't
okay.
say New Orleans. Can't say New Orleans and you're from Kenner. So I'm from Kenner, born and raised. Went to Brother Martin for high school. Went to
Okay.
LSU. My professional career, of course, is not in giving or gift giving. It's in recruitment. My whole career was spent in corporate recruitment.
Okay.
But eventually in 2017, found me having a conversation with my wife, who is from Chicago, and I hopefully I'm not jumping too far ahead, but
No.
wife's from Chicago. Was a little homesick. We were looking at companies that have things that you could buy from Chicago, which hence sparked the idea of doing something for New Orleans. That was the genesis of Box of Care, and then now we're 8 years in, and it's kind of morphed over the years, but the premise has kind of been the same in terms of putting New Orleans into a box and giving that to other folks.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's funny you say the Kenner thing because like I lived in Los Angeles for a long time, and I can't tell you the people I've met that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm from Louisiana. Oh, you're from New Orleans. That's not the state. That's a
It's
that's
its
a
own,
city.
it's its own thing. It's its own thing. It's its own
And
thing. I agree.
literally had to have the conversation, but that's not.
It's
Yeah,
not.
yeah, just fine. But I get it.
Yeah.
So that's really cool that this kind of sparked out of reaching out for Homesick of Chicago, and then it kind of brought it here. Um, what was like the first put together that you did? Like obviously it sparked an idea. Did you just kind of go out and buy stuff to start doing things first, or how do you kind of get to that?
Unfortunately, yes, because the first iteration that I did of the gift box was like a standard mailer box that you could buy from a box supply company, and then
Right.
I think I had like 3 hot sauces in there. I had some of the staples, the Zaps, the Cafe Du Monde, but
Yeah.
it was a wild array. I mean, I think there was upwards of like 25 different items, small stuff, but just no sort of method to the madness. It was just like I
Yeah.
threw New Orleans stuff into a box and then kind of went from there.
Who was the first one for?
Ooh, I think my very first order, I had an aunt who lived in Atlanta,
Okay.
and she was like the very first order. And I remember it was myself and a partner at the time, and I got a notification from Shopify, and I laugh about it now, but I called him and was like, Did you order? Did you do this? You know what I mean? We're trying to figure out because nobody had ordered. We were up for a couple months. Maybe it's like a month and a half in,
Yeah.
and I was talking about it, and somebody ordered, and we didn't know what to do. We were beside ourselves, but it was funny. But like I said, it was just a hodgepodge to start, and of course, my aunt was like, "I loved it," but I mean, it was looking back on it, it was crazy.
I was about to ask, well, how was the first reaction? Was it good stuff?
Of, of course, it was good. Of course, it was good, which we were happy about. And we had the videos, and we took the video and put that out on social media. But looking back on it, it's cringy. It's cringy.
That's okay. That's okay. Everybody starts somewhere, right?
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So what was it that like? How did you? Because obviously it's especially for New Orleans, like it's culture. So how do you figure out to how do you box culture to reproduce some actual revenue?
Oh man, how much time do we have? So that is a question I'm still trying to figure out the answer to. Even from starting the business till now, the companies that are around, the companies I have relationships with, all of that stuff has changed. So it's an ongoing thing in terms of trying to box the New Orleans culture post COVID and what that looks like and who's around and but for me the premise remains the same is finding the stuff that people know and love, but also going to find the small businesses, the family owned businesses, just because I'm one of those, you know,
Yeah.
trying to give those folks a platform, right? So taking Cafe Du Monde and then Wix NOLA, which is a candle company locally, and putting them together in a box, or Jambalaya Girl and Zapp's Chips, people that stuff that people may or may not know,
Yeah.
big stuff that people know and say, hey, this is the true essence of New Orleans. These are the people who create the things that you love.
And do you feel like how big of a percentage, and then you can go into why, but how big of a percentage would you say that just straight up authenticity plays into this type of company?
Ooh, I'd say 100%. And to be honest with you, I think what I've learned is that my business is for visitors or people who
Hmm.
aren't in New Orleans and love it. So I really focus on doing from an inward out sort of approach. So building the relationships with the vendors and the makers locally, but
Hmm.
again, trying to showcase that stuff to people, whether they're here or away, and ultimately try to create an experience with it. So it's not just a gift, right? It's something that people can take and then go learn about those products, or go on their own and go buy those particular things, or get the box of jambalaya and then make it and then make a video about it and then send it to Kristen over at Jambalaya Girl. So it's layered for me
Yeah,
into creating that real connection with the people who receive the gifts.
that's really cool. Um, eh, I was thinking of because, like, we're sending out like these pralines and things that people, if you're not from New Orleans, you get this and you're like, am I supposed to eat it? I guess it wasn't, you know,
Yeah,
because it's so different.
that's the challenge. So it's funny you say that. When I first started working with events, so I work with conferences and conventions, event
Yeah.
planners. I do maybe 100 gifts for somebody, and again, put the jambalaya mix in there, and people would fly back to San Diego, Pittsburgh, these places, and then don't do anything because I was curious. I'm like, did you make the beignet mix? And to be honest with you, I'm a local, and I've never made beignet mix at home. If I want beignets, I go to
We go
Cafe Du
get it.
Monde.
Right.
A morning call, wherever you go, wherever to get it. So I created like a digital guide as well that gave people access to.
That's great.
You snap a QR code, and then you can go to a place to see a video of the person
I
making
love
those
that.
particular things. So again, like I said, layers of like I'm trying to think for them,
Yeah.
but the true connection is you taking the stuff out and experiencing it. So it's not just like you said, you're staring at the pralines, like who is on Sally's, who is
Oh, yeah.
this company, who is that? Tell me the story. So I'm trying to do, and it's something I'm crafting, but trying to do that storytelling as well.
Yeah, because from us growing up around here, it's like if you don't take it out of the box and smell what it smells like when you cook that, you defeated the
That's right.
purpose. Your house
You
is
have no idea. You have no idea. You have no idea. Yeah. I mean, I mean, cooking the food. Of course, a lot of the gift boxes have food, but I mean,
sure.
the culture here. Food is. I mean, food and music are
75%.
gigantic. Yeah,
Yeah.
gigantic parts of what it's like living in Louisiana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What makes you now? Because obviously, it's all changed over the years, and maybe you can give me like maybe a step one, two, and three of how it came to this. But starting with just some bottles of Tabasco, what elevated as you kind of kept going of like, oh, let's start doing these things, and then okay, now let's do it like as we shift these things monthly depending on what's going on here, or how do you decide now moving forward?
That's a great question. When I originally started, it was much more, again, like I said, of a hodgepodge. But for me, over the years, it was conversations with recipients and then conversations with potential clients that kind of shaped that for me. So, again, working with event planners or hotels, they are very close to the end user or recipient. So
Hmm.
they come to me and say, from a pricing standpoint, we're looking to put something
Sure.
together in this particular range. So for me, what makes an efficient gift at $25? What makes an efficient gift at $50? And it's those conversations that help shape me. So where I had maybe I was putting 25 items in there. Now I'm putting maybe 5 or 6. Maybe there's one smaller, maybe something's bigger. But for me, it needs to make sense. And then also it needs to be impactful as well and have that storytelling element. So there's a lot of different things to it. But I work from a client to client basis. I have
Yeah.
clients who, again, I work with local hotels who use it for, I like to say, being on offense when they have VIPs come in and that sort of thing. And then
Yeah.
also have companies who use it for a marketing tool, right? So who around Christmas or the holidays or throughout the year want to stay in front of their clients and will use me that way. I am maybe it's the gift and the curse, being versatile around what it is, but again, I still work within my sandbox of products. So I'm like, this
Yeah.
is what I make, this is what I do, this is how I do my thing. But then also, you tell me what the message is for your brand, your company, and then I will sit with you and say, okay, let's do it this way. We work within your price range, your products, and we create something that should resonate with your buyer, client, whatever the case is.
Yeah. Going down that story and brand idea, would have you had any just like really cool stories of like I literally had the client wrote me or called me afterwards to talk about this thing that for whatever reason just blew up wonderfully.
Ooh, I did some Christmas gifts for a client where because okay, so I do the New Orleans gifts, but I also do branded items as well, that aren't
Hmm.
just New Orleansy. So I did some personalized passport books
Okay.
and luggage tags, and I mean, I sent them out. Those folks received it before Christmas. One of the recipients was traveling and used the stuff that I sent. They called the person called me and was like, yeah, they've already started using the stuff, like this has gone over super well. So that's the kind of stuff for me that I'm like, I mean,
Yeah.
good. This is why we do it. And I don't necessarily need the credit. Like, you take the credit, you put, this was your thing. But for me, I'm like, okay, I know that the gifts are making an impact. And I'm a big person on the items being practical too. So like,
Right.
nobody wants something that they can't use. So that's also something that I like to kind of suggest when I'm having those conversations with folks as well.
One of those I don't want to take the credit, but I'm gonna share it on my social
I
media.
was gonna say, can you just look, just tag me in the post when you talk about it, and then another thing to add on to that is I like when gift recipients will go and patronize the businesses who were in the gift box as well. So
Yeah.
I've had instances where folks would I would deliver gifts for a client, and then the customer would go buy from somewhere else and say, "Hey, I got your stuff in one of these gift boxes when I went to this event." And that's the kind of stuff too that, like, okay, so now we're moving 2 and 3 degrees away from me, which I like to
Yeah,
hear as well.
that's man, that's great because your footprint just keeps gets bigger and
That's right.
bigger. And
That's right.
obviously the more you bring to these local businesses, the more they're able to do what they do best around their own business.
That's right.
Have you ever got any of those? Just the straight calls from businesses? They're like, oh my God, we got shared because of the box.
Yeah, I have, and I make it a point on my social media. You can go check, anybody who's watching this, that I talk about my vendors as well. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I'm,
He's not lying.
people,
I went through all
yeah,
of it already.
people tell me this story. I mean, my business, it's a gifting business. It's also a marketing business. But like,
Sure.
my thing is, and I'm not trying to, do this in a bad way, but like, leverage other people's platforms to kind of, we all rise as we
Yep.
go. But I'm like, my brand is authentic to New Orleans, and what makes up my brand? It's other products. I don't make jambalaya. I don't make candles. I don't make cookies. I don't make chips. I don't do any of that stuff. But I know
Yeah.
who does, and I work with them, and I talk about
Yeah. Yeah, and if you haven't gone to his page, we have another thing in common. I'm also a girl dad, so I just
them.
cleaned
That's
off
right.
the nail polish yesterday. My
That's
toes,
right.
my toes
That's
will
right.
represent.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I've got a ballet performance to go to later today, so
There you
it,
go.
it never stops with them.
So
Never.
what are you seeing for your future of obviously scaling this? Do you see yourself? I mean, obviously you guys are the known people here in New Orleans now. Do you see maybe playing with some of the ideas in other cities of doing the similar idea?
Absolutely. I think I'm still trying to perfect the model here.
Yeah.
I think my big thing is to continue to work with some of the stakeholders in tourism, your hotels, your event planners,
Yeah.
and bear with me on this thought, but using the gift box almost as a magazine to where people would go into a hotel room, get a gift box, be able to sample local items, and then while they're here, also have a QR code that takes them out to go do things. So you come
Find
in,
those in store almost.
there you go. You're staying at the Marriott on Canal Street. If, for those who are from New Orleans and are familiar with New Orleans, you're staying at the Marriott. You get a gift box. You look through the items. You taste some of this, some of that, and then also you've got a QR code to say, hey, while you're here, if you love the items, go patronize those businesses. Go buy from here, there. Go have a drink here. Take 10% off. It's that sort of thing that I think that stuff existed before COVID. I think COVID kind of slowed down some of those in
Yeah.
room amenity sort of thing. But I think that is where, from a marketing standpoint, that I would see the biggest growth. It's something that I think is transferable to every city because, again, my customer or my best customer is somebody who's in New Orleans 3 to 5 days, who's going to
Yeah.
eventually leave and really wants to experience the city. And to be honest with you, doesn't have time to go
Sure.
all around, right? They're in walking distance of everything in the French Quarter, but they have no clue where to go. I want to help curate that experience for them.
Yeah, because unfortunately, you think about the people that come in, and it's usually just time spent on bourbon or a casino, and they don't really they don't get an essence of New Orleans. They get the
No,
essence of visiting New Orleans as a tourist.
that's
So
right.
what's cool is like, you get that box, and it's got like you could almost do it like a little treasure trove map where they
That's
get to
right.
experience from the point of view of being a local. Here's the place. Here's my favorite places, and that'd be really neat because you could also have like your social media people send in, hey, here's my list. So you literally have like this is blah blah blah's list of favorite places on,
That's right. That's right.
tag the
And
social media people.
I agree. I agree. And I think the extra element of it is the actual tasting of or experiencing of the products as well. So I think that's
Yeah,
the one additional piece that I think I've not really seen that. And I mean, everybody's traveled. I've traveled to different cities
sure.
and hotels, and typically you get the standard magazine or the card or list. But like the thought of being able to like, while you're here, why don't you try this? Why,
Yeah.
here's a little, here's a praline, here's a this, here's a that. While you're here, go do that, and then also, go experience this.
One is cool
This
because it
place
stays
that
with you on your phone instead of, this is a
that's right.
digital world. So versus
That's
picking
right.
up the magazine that you're probably going to set down somewhere and lose.
That's right. That's
This
right.
is really
That's
cool.
right.
Yeah, I like
That's
that.
right. Yeah.
Um, have you ever had any that became just like I don't know, just became like a very emotional thing for getting the box, whether it was like someone that used to live here or
Oh, I mean, I get instances all the time. I mean, people. I guess you would think these gifts are joyful, but people have used the gifts for, I mean, all sorts of occasions. So,
yeah,
when people buy, they have the option to put a card in, and we fill out the card here and then include it with the gift. And I mean, funerals, people passing away, people who left home, who haven't been back since Katrina. So
yeah,
as we're in the 20th year of that, we're a month away from the 20 years from that, 20 years removed. People use it for all sorts of instances. So I've not like necessarily seen anybody, but I've seen the cards, and then I've also gotten the emails where people have told me, man, I haven't had this in 15 years. Thank you for sending this. I haven't,
that's great.
and it's the stuff that we don't think much of, and for the most part, I
Sure.
include Mardi Gras beads in every box, and it's stuff where, I mean, if you're at Mardi Gras beads, you're driving over beads to leave the parade. It's not something you think anything of, but people who are here love that stuff.
Hmm.
Or people who are here for a few days, like they keep that stuff. This is stuff that goes in offices or in their car, or they give to their kids. So it's. I mean, New Orleans, unlike any other place, and you asked about doing this in other cities, everywhere's not gonna feel like
Nah.
this. I've lived in Houston for some years, and I'm like, even in Houston, the culture just it's not the same. There's
Yeah.
something about this place that's special.
Yeah, I've lived a few different places, and it's just while they're all been around a while. Like I lived in Los Angeles for a while, and it's every little area of Los Angeles has its own little thing, but
Yeah,
it's not like you don't have that overall culture because it's so many people that just moved there versus everybody moved here, but it was so long ago that
that's right. That's right.
it's built
That's
its
right.
own thing.
That's right. That's right.
What would you say has been like your biggest challenge of growing this type of business?
I mean the usual stuff: capital, access to capital, time.
Yeah,
You mentioned me being a girl dad, having a family. Like there's just, I mean, you can't duplicate yourself.
yeah,
There's that, and then there's the internal things as well. Am I doing this well? Am I doing this right? having big ideas, figuring out how to execute on things. Those are all factors that kind of play in, even on a daily basis, like, staying focused, staying locked in, accomplishing tasks, making lists, that sort of thing. It's just stuff that I kind of battle with, and wanting to just do this well, wanting to represent this well at a time where everything's so controversial, right?
Hmm.
It's like you can't have a stance on anything, you can't feel a way about anything. How do I not that I don't want to be controversial, but how do I focus on what I'm doing? What I'm
Right.
doing is giving people access to products from New Orleans. And I may miss a few, and I've been told, oh, you should include me, or you should include this, or you include that. And I try to find opportunities, and it doesn't always make sense, but trying to just
Yeah, because it's
stay
got to
locked in
fit,
on what I'm doing.
obviously.
Absolutely, yeah. There's some stuff. I mean, that I'm just like, people have called me all kinds of food, and I get client requests of stuff that I'm just like, I can't put seafood in there. I can't put, some of the stuff, the request. I'm like, dude, no,
It's
I'm not
when you.
doing it. No cakes or anything. No, I'm not. That's not
It's
my.
funny because
That's
when
not
you you were talking about obviously the 20 year of Katrina and everything, I was like, God, that would be the stinkiest box.
my.
My
Is it,
head
I mean,
just.
how would you commemorate? You know what I mean? So I just, yeah, I mean, but you get those requests, and you have to have those conversations with
Yeah.
people, and you kind of reel them in. But that's a challenge, all within itself, of like, again, honing in on what works, what people want, what they want to see, what should they know about. How do I tell that story? Again, I think that will be evolving itself forever. So if this is around in 25 years, I still would be saying the same thing. 30, 35 years in, I'm still like, things will look different then than it does
Right.
now. So how am I continuing to tell the story in a way that resonates with people at that time?
It's funny you say that. You say you had so much trouble with trying to balance time, obviously family, business. But if I remember correctly, I have a screen over here. You you just went back to college and graduated as well. So
I'm crazy. I'm crazy.
give me
I'm
some
crazy.
tips, man. Like you can
I'm a
complain about
crazy
your
person.
time frame. How do I keep up with
I
like
don't. Yeah, I did just finish with a master's. I don't really know how.
congratulations?
I appreciate that. I don't know how I did that. A lot of nights and weekends, but it got done. I guess I look at a lot of stuff where you see other people do it, right, and you're like, well, why can't I, you know, run a successful business and be
Yeah.
a good parent and work a side job and do this and do that, and I like to cook or find hobbies and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You everybody's got the same 24 hours, right? So I mean, you just make it work, and if you lose sleep, you lose sleep, and then you just do what you need to do.
Well, and I find that like if you don't find time to put those things you truly enjoy, the rest of it's going to go downhill too because then it just
That's right.
becomes a day of stress and then your kids feel the day of stress you had and then it just
That's right.
push on
It's
down the
over. It's
line.
overwhelming. I
Woof.
agree. It's overwhelming. It's overwhelming.
So I'm going to give you a list of I've got 4 quickies and I'm going to
Okay.
give you some spit questions. You got to tell
Okay.
me, okay? Are you
Okay.
ready?
Okay. I'm ready.
Beignet or praline?
Praline.
Okay. Favorite local artist?
Musical or art? Art.
Complete open. Your
Ooh.
call.
Favorite local artist.
That's tough for New Orleans. All right, give me a music one first.
Okay. Okay. That helps me. Musical. Lil Wayne is that's an yes.
All right.
Lil Wayne.
Favorite painter.
Terrence Osborne.
All right. Best gift you've ever received yourself.
Best gift I've received. Uh, daughters.
That's fair.
Two of them.
I was
Two
about to say
gifts.
don't say one name, you'll get in trouble. Um, I'm not here to create more trouble. Um, favorite place in the city.
Just favorite place that I like to go in the city. Man, I would say I hate to do this. I'm going to say two different things.
That's okay. Go ahead.
A Saints game when they're good, nothing like that.
Oh,
Uh,
when they're
and,
good.
yeah, when they're good, when they're not, it's not as fun. And then second thing would be Ruth Chris is like my favorite restaurant. So I'm like,
All
if
right,
I
that's
if I got
fair.
a night there and I get to eat and all that stuff, yeah, it always ties back to food, but love a good dinner there.
I mean, that brings us back to the beginning. This city is about some good food and family
It
and time,
is.
and culture. And that's all the same here. It's
It is.
layers of
It is.
goodness. All right. One word that describes New Orleans.
One word that describes New Orleans. Ooh.
And it can't be sweaty.
Cat can't be sweaty. It is sweat. It's a sweaty place. I would say I'd say welcoming.
Okay. I
I'd
like
say
that.
welcoming.
Yeah, I always said, like, because like I said, we flying back and forth and stuff. It's like when you land in other cities, just like, oh, cool, new city. When you land in New Orleans, and I don't know if it's the sweat and the heat or just the culture, but it's like you just feel this wave that hits you
It
when you
consumes
get
you.
here.
It consumes.
Yeah,
That's right.
absolutely.
It consumes you. Yes.
Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Where is the best place for people to find you and reach out?
Yeah, so man, different places. So obviously there's the website, which is boxofcare.com. Instagram is at boxofcare NOLA. Facebook is just Box of Care. If you want to email, you can do info@boxofcare.com. And then also, I don't remember my TikTok name. There's so many social
It's
channels.
so much.
I'm
It's so
like,
much.
listen, any of those things, you see Box of Care, you send a message. I'm on the other end of that. So if anybody has any questions around gifting, or if has a business and wants to kind of excel their business and use gifting to do it, it is effective. It's efficient. It would never not be in style. I am the person to help you.
I'll back you up, because we over here at Ledoux Entertainment, we rave about you in some of our mastermind groups and stuff too, about how often we use you guys. So
nice. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for hanging. Everybody else, we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Partnerships for Profit. We hope you've gained valuable insights on how to form profitable partnerships and take your business to the next level. Be sure to subscribe and leave us a review wherever you listen to podcasts so you never miss an episode. Got a partnership story to share or someone you'd like to see featured on the show? Reach out to us. Until next time, keep building those partnerships for profit.